Okay, what you guys need today is going to be the notes that I just gave you. You also need a calculator. If you are not seated beside somebody, I would like you to sit beside somebody so that you all know what you're doing. So if there's a group of three, go sit together with a group of three. If you want to stay right here, make sure that you have questions, go ahead and turn around. You need my calculator though. Okay? Are we ready? Okay. Yesterday we talked about graphing. Yesterday we talked about finding the vertex. Yes? The vertex was h is negative b over 2a. To find k, you took that value and you plugged it in. Today we are going to graph standard form. Standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So we are going to graph something that looks like this. The very first thing I want you to do is I want you to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point on the graph where it crosses the y-axis. If it is crossing the y-axis, what is the value for x? It is 0, which means all you have to do is simply cross those out, and what you're left with is c, which is why you are going to have the ordered pair 0, c for your y-intercept every time. Make sense? Really easy. Then you're going to find your h and you're going to find your k just like we did yesterday. Your a value still determines if you are going to have a maximum or minimum. How do we denote maximum? Maximum is going to be written as m to the plus sign. Meaning if your a value is positive, it opens up and it's going to have a minimum denoted as m to the negative 1, to the negative. Okay? If your a value is positive, you have a minimum because it opens up. If your a value is negative, it opens down and it has a maximum. Do we all understand that? Now, we are going to go straight to how do we do this? So, very first thing that I want you guys to do is I want you to find your y-intercept. So what is your y-intercept of this graph? 0, 7. I love that you wrote that as an ordered pair because it is a point, and as such, it has an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate, and you need to make sure that you don't forget that. Yes? So 0, 7 is the correct y-intercept. The next thing I want you to do is say, okay, I'm going to find the value h. H is found by doing negative b over 2a. What is b in this equation? A negative times negative 12 all over 2 times a. What is a in this equation? 3. A double negative creates a positive 12. 2 times 3 is a 6. To give me what is 12 divided by 6? 2 is equal to your h value. Everybody with me on that? Now, how do I find my k value? My k value is going to be found by simply taking the original function, and every place you see an x, you're plugging in the value 2. So 3 parentheses 2 squared minus 12 parentheses 2 plus 7. Yes? Okay, now, what do I want you guys to do? Yes?
Wait, I clicked the wrong. H equals x, right?
Yes, h is
Okay,
your x.
that's okay. You're right. Thank you.
Okay, now, what we're going to do is I want you to pick up your graphing calculator. I want you to hit the home screen. I want you to hit new document. Do you want to save the unsaved document? No, you do not. And I want you to insert a calculator page. And I want you to type in exactly what we wrote on your paper. What you wrote on your paper is 3 parentheses 2 squared minus 12 parentheses 2 plus 7. Am I correct in that? Yes. And I want you to hit enter. Your k value is going to be the value negative 5. So we're going to come over here and we're going to say that this is negative 5. Negative 5 is k. So can you tell me what your vertex is of this lovely little parabola? It is going to be 2, negative 5. Now, here's the next question that I need to know. Is the point 2, negative 5 a maximum or a minimum? How do I determine that? I look at my a value. My a value is positive. So since my a value is positive, the parabola is opening up, indicating that I have what type of a vertex? A minimum. So you are going to indicate this by putting an M with a negative sign up the top. Now, we are going to come over to our graph page. On your graph page, you will see an XY table. On that XY table, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. I want you to go to the 4th row, and I want you to write that vertex there, 2, -5. Yes? And now I want you to plot that vertex. 2, -5 is going to be right here, and underneath of it, I want you to put m to the negative. Why am I putting it underneath of it? It is a minimum value, and that indicates to your brain that the entire graph is going to be above that ordered pair. Yes? Now, the next thing I want you to understand is if the parabola looks like a U, I'm going to put my hands in the air. My body is going to be the axis of symmetry. My elbows should be equal distance and at the same height. My hands should be equal distance and at the same height as well. Do we all understand that? Which means the right-hand side of my body has the same y values as the corresponding left-hand side of my body having the same y values. Does that make sense? So every unit away from the vertex on the right and the left have exactly the same height. Does everybody understand what I just said? That's the definition of symmetry. Now, what we're going to do from here is you are going to continue counting 1 unit away. 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that make sense? You're going to go backwards from your vertex of the x value 2, and that's going to be 1, 0, -1. We have gone equal units on both sides of the vertex. Would you agree? Now, according to this, what point do I already know? 0, 7. So I am simply going to put 0, 7 here. According to the symmetry that I just talked about, what other point has a height of 7? 4 is 2 units away from 2, as well as 0 is 2 units away from 2. So therefore, both of them have to have the height of 7. Do we understand that? So I'm going to plot the ordered pair 0, 7, and I'm going to plot the ordered pair 4, 7. Yes? Do you see the symmetry? Okay, now, how do I get the remaining points? Now, back in Algebra 1, you guys would have plugged and chugged and get out the other values of your y. But I want you to start using the technology better. So I want you to pick up your graphing calculator, and I want you to click Control Doc. Control Doc will insert a new page. The new page that you are going to insert is a graph page. And you are going to type the equation without the y equals exactly the way it is in the problem. So that was going to be 3x squared minus 12x plus 7. Am I correct in that? And I'm going to hit enter. Now, we're going to verify what we already did on our paper. We're going to verify, 1, if it's a maximum or a minimum. What did we say it was on our paper? A min. Is it a minimum in our graph? Yes, it is. The next thing we're going to verify is going to be the vertex. So I want everybody to hit menu, analyze graph. Analyze graph is number 6, and inside that analyze graph, you have several different options. What options do you think you would choose? Why are we choosing minimum? Because our graph has a minimum. So I'm going to choose minimum, and you are going to obtain a dotted line that goes somewhere down your graph. It could be different than mine, which is different than your neighbor's. As long as that dotted line is directly to the left or the right completely of your minimum value, you can hit enter. Then you're going to use the lovely little, hopefully, you're going to use the mouse on your calculator. And you are going to verify by clicking again and hitting enter that you have a minimum value of 2, -5. So now that I've confirmed that, the next thing I want to do is I want to get my XY table. So the way we're going to do that is by hitting Control T. Control T brings up your entire XY table. So I want to find my vertex. My vertex is at the point 2, -5. So there's my vertex. Whoa, 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 whoa. Board's going psycho. Now, if you see, if I go to 0, 0 corresponds to 7, and 4 corresponds to 7. Did you see that we were right? If I arrow down and I go down to 5, 2 goes to -5, 3 goes to -2, 4 goes to 7, and 5 goes to 22. So you are going to remember the numbers and write down -5, -2, 7, 22. So -2, 7, 22. -2, 7, 22. If that is what I have on the right-hand side, what am I going to have on the left-hand side? Same exact thing. -2, 7 is already there, and 22. And you're simply going to graph the other missing points. Now, am I going to graph the points -1, 22 and 5, 22? Why am I not going to graph those? They're off the graph. Sometimes your y-intercept will be off the graph. Is it okay not to graph your y-intercept if it's on your graph? Yeah. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to graph the other points, 1 at -2 and 3, -2, and I'm simply going to draw them as a U, and we are done. Does that make sense? We good? Okay, let's do it again. What's the first thing I should find on this graph? The y-intercept, which is what? Y-intercept is 0, 3. What's the second thing I should find? I need to find the h value, which is -b over 2a. So that's going to be negative times a 2 over 2 times a 1, which gives me -2 over 2, which is -1 as my h. So I found my h. What do I do? Plug it in to find what now? So my k value is going to be, please watch. Watch how I write this. I need you to put parentheses because my value I'm plugging in is negative. If you don't put parentheses around the negative, it will not square the negative, and it'll give you the wrong calculation. It'll only square the number, but not the negative. So you have to have a -1 squared in parentheses plus 2 times the -1 plus a 3. Okay? So if I come back over here, how do I get back to my calculator page? You can click on the tab, or you can do Control left arrow. And that's going to be parentheses -1 squared plus 2 times -1 plus 3 and hit enter. And what does that give you? 2. Do we all understand where the k came from? So what is my vertex? -1, +2. And what can you conclude about that? Is it a maximum or a minimum? How do we determine that? I look at my A value. My A value in this example is positive, which means it is opening up, creating a minimum. Yes? So I'm going to go over to my lovely little graph here, and I'm going to count to which spot? The 4th spot. And I'm going to put what number there? -1, +2. Okay, so I'm going to plot the point -1, +2. And what do I know that to be? A minimum, so I'm going to put n to the -1 or n to the negative below it. And now what am I going to put on the other x values? I'm going to keep counting, right? So this is going to go 0, 1, and 2. And then I'm going to go backwards, so this is going to be -2, -3, -4. Yes? We get it? What do I know automatically? I know my y-intercept to be what value? 3. So I'm going to graph the point 0, 3. That puts me here. And then what else is symmetrical to that? -2 also has to have a value of 3. So at -2, I'm going to graph that. And now, what am I going to do? How do I get the rest of those? Go back to your graph. However, I'm going to add a new graph page because I don't want to see any of the graphs. So I'm going to hit Control Dot and go to a graph page. And I'm going to type in x squared plus 2x plus 3 and hit enter. I'm going to confirm 2 things on this graph. The first confirmation I'm going to get is what? It is a minimum. The second confirmation I'm going to do is what? I need to confirm the vertex. So how do I confirm the vertex is accurate? What do I hit first? Menu. Analyze graph. Minimum. You are going to find your vertical dotted line and pray it's to the left or to the right completely of your vertex, and it is. I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to go to the left for me and hit enter again. And did I confirm that my ordered pair is indeed -1, 2? Yes. So I'm okay. Now, how do I get my other points? Control T. I'm able to get my other points. My vertex was at -1, so I need to go to -1. So -1, 2 is confirmed, and now I need to remember the y values of 3, 6, and 11. So 3, 6, and 11 is what I have. So if I have 3, 6, and 11 on the right-hand side of it, I'm going to go and have symmetry, and that's going to be 6 and 11 over here as well. Do we see that? And I'm going to plot those ordered pairs. -3, 6, +1, 6. 2, 11, that puts me off my graph. -4, 11, but it's just barely off my graph. Would you agree? And I'm going to simply connect the dots. Do we see that? Yes or no? This is how you're going to do problems 1 through 6 on tonight's homework. So we passed out tonight's homework, and then I'm going to talk about the backside, which is all story problems. You're welcome. I know how much you all love story problems. Now, how many of you may think that you'll forget how to do this when you go home tonight?
I'm going to look at the video.
The steps are going to be right here in red. Everything that I have talked about and walked you through are the red steps right here. Do we all understand that? So if you get confused, you simply read the steps and go step by step and do the process. Yes? The next thing that I want to show you before I go, or before you leave, is Classroom. I did post the calculator so that you guys could see it. So if there's a time whenever you're like, hey, I don't understand where this stuff is at, if you come here and you click on Classwork, you'll see Online Calculator, and if you click there, it'll go straight to the apps and you can log in. Do we all understand that? I couldn't. I tried. Okay, now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the back side. So if we look at number 1 on the back. Now, here's what I need your brain to get. You have a part A, part B, and a part C. I'm telling you, we've been talking about nothing but H and K, correct? The vertex. Part A is probably H. Part B is probably K. And part C is graphic. I repeat, part A is probably H, negative B over 2A. Part B is probably K, plug and check that value. And part C is graphic. The graphing is where things get kind of screwy for y'all. There we go. This is what you guys are going to have, okay? Now, if that's what you guys have, I want you to read the problem and I want you to consider where is X and where is Y. Normally, X is here and Y is here. Would you agree? So as I read this problem, I want you to start filling in where you think X is and what goes there. So if I read number 1, a small independent motion picture company determines the profit P for producing N DVDs. So my topics are going to be profit and DVDs. Would you agree? P and N. I need to figure out which one goes where. So if we look at the equation, what does the P mimic in all of our normal equations? P mimics Y, which means that's going to be your profit. Do we understand that? Which means that leaves N to mimic what? X, which is going to be your DVDs. This will help you tremendously to determine how to graph. Do we all understand that? Now, notice you have no scale on yours. You have to determine the scale. It says P is the profit in thousands of dollars. So if this is in thousands of dollars, and the DVDs is in thousands of units, if I have 5 DVDs, what does that actually mean I have? 5,000. Do we all understand that? If I have 2.5 profit, what does that mean I actually profited? 2,500. Do we all understand that? Okay? So you need to think about that whenever you pick your answers. You need to be like, okay, well, how am I going to graph this? You have to determine your scale. Do we all understand that? I'm not going to determine your scale for you. Any questions on how to do the back? All right. We have about 6 minutes remaining. Go ahead and get busy finishing that up. You guys should be at least able to do the front page 1 or 2 problems.